love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You Podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Expert in You Podcast. I'm your host, Carden, and you know, every week I'm so excited to be here with you. And this week is no different because I have this amazing, brilliant coach who I'm so happy to have on the show, Robin Dupuisi. Did I say that right?
Yep, yes.
Okay, awesome. Robin is a divorce coach. And I said, I haven't had any divorce coaches on here, but she's also a financial advisor. And so she has been able to merge those two worlds together, which I think is awesome. I love it. But she specializes in helping women navigate really the divorce process. So with the emotional and the financial side of it, so that they come out financially and even emotionally stronger. So I love that. I love that there's such a need out there. So Robin, welcome to my show.
Thank you very much. And thanks for having me and inviting me. I love this.
It is my pleasure. And I know you're going to bring so much value. So many people right now are struggling in relationships and entrepreneurs and high performing women who I know that you work with high performers and you work with people in businesses and entrepreneurs. And often relationships suffer when people are really achieving success. And that was really, as you were their financial advisor, people were going through these issues and these problems. And so that's how you got into what you do. So I'm going to let you share a little bit of that story, but there's such a need for what you're doing. So I'm so grateful that you are out there helping people in this way. So tell us a little bit about your backstory and about getting into this.
Yeah, so I've been a financial advisor about 7 years, and I got into this field because I was manager of manufacturing companies, and I found a huge need for people to really understand their finances, where they are now, and to protect themselves and know the what ifs. Mm-hmm. Where would they were going to wind up? And so when I changed careers, I wanted to go into the financial field, and I wanted to work with women because I like working with women. And I think women really need to understand where they are financially, what they need to do to keep themselves financially safe.
Yes.
And understand the what ifs, right? Life happens. Life is going to happen. People lose their jobs, they switch careers, they get sick, your spouse gets sick, your partner, whatever it is, your children. And you just need to know what to plan for. And throughout my career as a financial advisor, I then have clients that are going through divorce. And so we worked hand in hand, side by side through this process of emotionally how they can deal with some of the anger and the emotions and the grief. No matter who started it, right? It doesn't. Right. It almost doesn't matter what the reasons are, but you're going to go through the same emotions: the grief, yes, the sadness, and the loss. And so I worked with my clients through that, and then also the process, the paperwork, which it can be overwhelming, mm-hmm, right? If you try to do it yourself. If you get a lawyer, what kind of lawyer? Then there's the collaborative and mediators, and it's like, oh my God, it can be very overwhelming. And I'm happy to say that the clients that I did work through work with through this whole process, they did. They came out happier, stronger, emotionally stronger, financially, at least the knowledge of what was going to happen financially as they dismantled their lives.
Yes.
Right. And I have been through the divorce process myself. So I knew some of it, and then absolutely helping other people has given me more insight.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole array of support people that I work with, meaning lawyers, paralegals,
Mm-hmm.
therapists, family counselors.
So you have a team and of resources, which is amazing. That's so helpful that you trust, people that you trust. I love that.
Absolutely, because I believe you need a team around you. You need your
Yes.
support system, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also call them board of advisors, so that, when you do have that breakdown at 2:00 in the morning, you know who you can call, right?
Yes. Yes.
Or somebody to throw ideas at. And it all works together. And it's just such an emotional feeling just to be able to help and give the help to those that need it.
Yes, I want to kind of interject here something that you said, and I think that this is so important. So often when people are going through some like an emotional thing like a divorce, right? First of all, you helping them from the financial side, that is always one of the big things in a divorce. And so I love that you are able to help them from that financial side. I love that you have all the resources that you talked about. But the other side of it is a lot of times people are getting support from family or they're getting support from friends, and it's not the same kind of support and so you're really coming as a professional, and you're giving them professional support, both emotionally, but also from a practical standpoint. And I think that's so important. And that's what makes it really different. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. As we go through divorce, or as I went through divorce, I really wanted to be careful who I talked with in the family and the friends.
Yes.
Me personally, I didn't want to overwhelm them or drag them into the mess,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's like, how often can I talk to them? So if I would have had a professional at that time, it totally would have changed my outlook. It would have given me that emotional support and the peace of mind to know that
Yes.
there was someone out there that I could call and help, right?
Absolutely. No, I love it. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here, because you are really coming to divorce coaching in a very different place and with a very different type of program. And most divorce coaches are just coaching and they're that emotional support, but you're really also helping them from the practical side. And it's a professional approach to the coaching. And so that's so powerful and so needed. I just absolutely love it. I love it. So let's talk about some of the things you mentioned a little bit when we first started talking. You said, how do you choose the right lawyer, and what are some of those things that people have to navigate that they don't even know they're going to have to navigate until they're in the thick of it, so to speak?
Yeah, there are some things you should think about right away. And one of them is not to become a financial victim.
Mm-hmm.
The divorce process is so emotional. And sometimes you get to that point and you're just saying, I don't care. I just want it done. I just want it out. So you may sign something or sign away something that financially can really, really hurt you later on. Right.
Right.
So we have to watch that. And as a professional, I kind of watch that, right? It's like, wait,
have their back.
I got your back.
Yes.
Yes, I understand. We all want this done. We just do, right? Mediation can be helpful, and it works like 95% of the time. There's always that little bit, right? That something is going to go wrong. Mediation is not going to work. And mediation is not a one-time and done. Mediation can be more than one meeting, and it can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars by going into the mediation. And I'll mention this right away, is that, we kind of plan our lives, we plan our careers, we plan our marriage. How many of us really plan our divorce?
Right. No one. We don't ever think that, right?
No. And that's what why would you go into a meeting, into mediation, and if you don't have a plan, you don't know where you are? And that's another thing that I help with, right? Is, do you need mediation? Now, there are some clients that I've helped, and we've set out the plan, and then she has taken it to the soon-to-be ex, or right, the partner, and says, "Listen, what do you think?" Because we need to be fair, right? As much as we can. So let's plan it out, and then have that conversation back and forth. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't work on one-on-one, because of course, all of the emotions and the anger and the grief, that's when the mediation can come into play. And
well, you're really like a first step for them, so they can work with you. You help them structure the right plan. You know the things to look for. You know the people to refer them to, and all of those things, so that now they have a good strategy or a good game plan. And now you give them really the steps along the way, so you can help them guide and navigate that whole process. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, love it.
And depending where you are too, that's when we decide on what kind of lawyer you want. Mm-hmm. Not all lawyers are the same, right?
Right.
So a lot of times when people talk about divorce, I have to go get a lawyer. I need a lawyer right now. Not necessarily. We need to figure out what kind. Do you have a disabled child? Well, then you need to look for one that has that also as a specialty, mm-hmm. to make sure that you can protect your child and you financially, right?
Yes.
Right.
These are all things you don't know what you don't know, right? Like I'm learning here. I'm fortunate that I've been married for going on 42 years. But that being said, I am learning so much, because you don't know what you don't know. And all these things that you're bringing up, had no clue. So
yeah, absolutely. And the more people that I've worked with, more clients, I learn every day too. I mean, it's just an ongoing process as I talk to more relationship coaches or therapists and lawyers and paralegals, right?
Yes, right.
And there's ways that you can get a divorce, that you can do all the paperwork yourself, but in my opinion, you need a lawyer to look it over, mm-hmm. right, before you sign it. And in fact, that is what and I'm not a lawyer, but I can look over the divorce decree to make sure nothing has been left out or changed that we have talked about.
Yes. Oh, I love what you're doing. Wow. So needed. So needed. All right. So, and they make financial, so you have a game plan, you give them a game plan, you really help guide their path. What are some of the details that people don't think about that could cost them? Do you mind sharing some of those things?
Yes. You know what? Giving the house away. Mm-hmm. Saying, you know what? You live in the house. I just want out. We're not going to split. You don't have to sell it. I don't want part of that cost, or the part of that money. Mm-hmm. That can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? In your pocket, in your retirement. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some people, they look at each and every item. It's like, well, I want, we have 2 beds. I want 1 bed, right? Well, okay. But so the easier way is look at the whole estate. What is the estate worth? How many cars do you have? What is, how much money do you have in the banks, right? CDs. Listen, vehicles, depending on the vehicles, are a lot of money. Don't forget them.
Right.
What's the value of that? So you can take the whole estate and say it's worth, I'll just say $1 million. Well, then you get 500,000. Does that always have to be in cash or in money? No, it could be part of the house. It could be a vehicle, whatever it is, right? So you need to think out of the box for that. You need to think about retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, and pension, right? If you're not working and haven't worked, if you are a stay-at-home mom for 20 years and you have to go back into the workforce, well, how are you going to support yourself, right? Until you can find a career or a job to help supplement.
Yes. It sounds like you can also really save people a lot of money as you're coaching them. That it sounds like that could be a much less expensive path before they start pulling out the big guns, so to speak, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, okay, how do you split the pension or the 401k? And you can't just take that 401k. Let's just say you're going to take part of his 401k or soon to be ex's 401k, right? And you cannot just put that in your bank account. You're going to pay tax. You probably will pay taxes on it. Right. And a penalty if you're under 59 and a half, right? Because it's a retirement money. Another thing is for Social Security reasons, if your soon to be ex is the higher earner, for you to go under their Social Security to get more Social Security when you retire, you must be married more than 10 years. And a lot of people don't know that, and they get divorced at like 9.5 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then, yes, and their career never makes as much money as he did. It's never in there. So when they look at Social Security, when you get up to whatever age you take it, you are not entitled to his at all. So you have to go by yours. So there are some things on that end that you need to also watch out for.
Yeah, that is great information. You also talked about, you kind of hit on this a little bit, some of the financial mistakes that people need to avoid. And one of the things you kind of talked about is look at the whole big picture. It needs to be fair, right? It needs to be split up. Any other financial mistakes that people make?
Yeah, failing to recognize really who the common enemy is, and that's the IRS. It's
okay, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, we really don't like them, do we?
No, we don't. We don't. So there are things that you need to think about depending on how big your estate is or how the house is. And I work with CPAs and that work with how not to pay much money in taxes, right? Because you want to keep it in your own pockets.
Right.
And how,
we don't want to get into that conversation, do we? About what they do with their tax money.
Yeah, no.
Stay away from that. Keep going.
Yeah, I just don't go there. It's like, no, we need to talk to.
Let's keep our money. Yes.
Specialized in that. Yeah. And there are other costs to divorce that a lot of people don't really think about. And one of it is the emotional cost that you go through that your kids go through, that your
Yes.
family members, right? Your siblings, maybe even your parents are going to go through.
And it doesn't even really matter how old kids are. Like they could even be adults with their own families. They still are going to go through that emotion because now everything's changing. What used to be mom and dad came to visit, mom and dad were around the grandkids, all of a sudden, that is a completely different story, right?
Absolutely. In most cases, there are cases out there that mom and dad still, they still get along, and that is excellent. I would try and recommend that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When your kids have get-togethers, you can be in the same room with your ex. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to look at them, but you can be polite.
Right.
Right.
Right. The human element. Sounds like you should be human. Yes.
Right. And and it's emotional. It will absolutely be emotional. Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the legal cost of the divorce. Right. And it's not, it's not just the divorce filing. But if you can't come to an agreement, then you're going to start racking up the lawyer fees.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then if you have to go to mediation 5 times, well, each mediation is a cost.
Right.
So it's the legal cost of divorce. And I've known, I have a client that they went to court and fought over dogs and who would get the quilt. And
Mm-hmm.
the money that they spent doing that was off the charts, and it really wasn't even there. They shouldn't even have been doing that, but that was their way of showing their anger and grief at the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And you
not a
help
good
them
way.
keep all of that in check.
Try.
Yeah.
Most of the time, yes.
No, I think that's important. And that is important with anything. I mean, we know an outside perspective, an outside professional can help you navigate things so much better, so much easier, without, getting yourself in trouble. Because they can see things and they can look at things with an outside set of eyes, and they can be logical, and they're not emotionally connected to it. And it just changes their, the whole perspective. And so I love that you're able to do that with them.
Yeah, thank you. And you're absolutely right, because to work with someone, a professional that sees this and works with this day in and day out,
Mm-hmm.
is totally different from talking to someone that only sees it once every 10 years, once every 20 years, or maybe it's their first time.
Right.
So they're not going to know all the ins and outs.
Yes. Sounds like a business coach. They've only worked with one business in their whole life, and they're just not going to have that same set of eyes as somebody who's been doing it for many, many years and lots of different businesses. And so that's with any professionals. This is amazing. I absolutely love what you're doing, because it seems like every time I turn around, I am seeing someone else going through a divorce. And it's to me, it's just truly the saddest thing. In fact, I actually want to introduce you to someone that I think you should connect with and meet, that I know is going through this. So I think it is a hard thing to go through on any level, and to try to navigate all of the legal things, the financial things, the emotional things. You're trying to do all of that, and that's just a lot. That is a lot on a person, and that's a lot of stress, not good for your health, right? There's just so many other things that we're not even talking about, that are so important. So fantastic, Robin. Okay, so if you know someone, or if you are someone that has a need for Robin's services, Robin, what would you like them to do next? What is that step that you would like them to take to connect with you?
So there's a couple ways to connect with me. You can call me My cell number is 719-761-1802.
Wow, that's amazing. She's giving you her number. So
I'm giving out the number. Maybe I shouldn't.
We'll put it with the show notes. And then how can they also reach out to you? Maybe.
So I do have a Facebook. I am on Facebook.
Okay.
So you can connect with me there. I do have, my regular page, Robin Depius, and I do have a Confidence and Clarity Facebook group.
Okay.
Find me, join. That would be wonderful.
Okay.
And you can email me at robin@confidenceclaritygroup.com.
Okay. We'll put all of that with the show notes. ClarityGroup.com, taking all this down. Awesome. Well, you can hear that she is an expert at what she does, and she actually was coaching people long before she decided to do this professionally and getting paid for it. So she truly knows what she's doing. She's got a lot of background in this, and she's just her financial experience and expertise is a huge piece of going through a divorce, and that piece alone is worth reaching out to her for. So Robin, thank you so much for being my guest. This has been such a pleasure having you on, and I pray that the right people will see this and that the right people will come to you and get your help to get through it, because it's a hard thing to go through. It's a big life change for people when they go through this, and having someone in your corner that can be that professional support, there's nothing like it. So
yep, absolutely. And it's needed. And thank you so much for asking me to join you on your podcast, Ann.
My honor, my pleasure.
Thank you. And I'm sure we're going to stay in touch.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again on another episode of Expert in You. Please share this with someone that needs to see it. And like it, leave your feedback, leave your comments, connect with Robin. Robin, are you on LinkedIn as well?
I am, yes.
Okay, so LinkedIn or Facebook, you can find her. And again, we'll have all the information with the show notes. So until next week, God bless you all. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you've enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to go check out a free training that I have at expertinu.us. It is a training that I have on how you can get ultra premium dream clients, scale your business, get more freedom, and really simplify your business and multiply your money. So go check that out. And again, that is expertinu.us. I want to thank you for being here with me this week. I hope you found massive value. Please always leave a comment, feedback, or a question. We check them all. And I want you to go rock your business, and make sure you join us again next week. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.